A brand new gameplay loop may be on the way in the form of a mining update, and it could well be attached to this brand new ship, the Type 11 Prospector. Now, Frontier have hinted that this ship will have something unique about it, and that is this brand new mining hardpoint which only works with the Type 11. Naturally, speculation is now rife amongst the community for exactly what this means, and there's a whole ton of theories on what type of new gameplay we could expect. So let's go through each of these in turn, starting with the most likely and perhaps least consequential to the least likely and most consequential. So, what we know is that this is a drill of some type. Frontier have confirmed as much. That makes it a mining drill laser of some type. The most common theory then, and the most coherent actually, and this is going off Frontier's tease and the little bits of information, the snippets we've got here and there, is that this drill will plough directly into the surface of asteroids. In this theory then, the idea would be drilling deep into the asteroid as an alternative to juggling seismic charges and subsurface missiles. Here, instead, you would fly up, lock on and bore straight into the asteroid, kicking out a shower of multiple resource fragments. It would be a way of fusing a deep core subsurface and laser loops into one tactile experience. And yeah, the way Frontier have spoken about this with the new hardpoint being right next to the cockpit, they very much want people to be watching the action here and seeing it up close. Another theory is one that's far more focused on the ship itself, and it's closely tied to the drill theory. The speculation here is that the Prospector's party trick will be exclusive hardware. Now, many on the forum note that the hardpoint sits almost flush with the cockpit, and this implies a single immovable tool rather than swappable lasers. If true, the Type 11 becomes a purpose-built miner. Take that laser off and what you have is a very basic ship that isn't really much different to the Type 8. Keep it installed and you're running the only ship that can use this new mechanic. So this one's less of a theory and more along the lines of what Frontier have more or less directly told us, with the exception that there would be potentially a new form of gameplay, whether minor or major, that is tied directly to this one ship. Now, as we're going through all of these different theories, don't be afraid to leave your theory in the comments section below. If you agree with the two we've already mentioned, do talk about those in the comments section. Do you think these are likely? Do you think they're unlikely? Do you think Frontier is just making a lot of hot air about nothing? Or do you think they really will fundamentally add something that's really valuable in terms of gameplay? Also, if you have any other theories that we haven't mentioned in this video, then let me know about those as well. Moving on, we come to the third idea, and this is an onboard refinery and limpet efficiency buff. Now, a sizable chunk of the community here appears to believe that the new mining line really does point to processing improvements rather than extraction changes, although both could be going on here at the same time. So ideas here would range from an integrated refinery that instantly smelts ore, freeing up cargo space for smarter, faster collector limpets that compact fragments on the way. The argument, quality of life tweaks fit Frontier's usual mid-season patch here, mid-session patch, and the scope would make the Prospector's smaller hold viable next to the Type 9 or the Panther. In other words, this wasn't just about that mining laser, it gives the ship itself a new functionality. Just like with the Panther Clipper and its higher capacity cargo holds, what would happen here is you'd have a ship that doesn't need a refinery because it's got one built in, and instead allows for more space to hold ore. The fourth idea is an incremental quality of life ship, no truly a new loop here. This is a little bit from the skeptic camp, and it says that history will repeat. The Type 10 Defender branded itself as a Thargoid hunter, yet it didn't unlock unique gameplay. Likewise, the Prospector could ship with modest buffs, which could be slightly denser racks, a tweaked heat on the mining lasers, a pulse wave scanner with longer reach, whilst core mining remains unchanged. Although this idea doesn't really account for the obvious inclusion of a drill on board the ship. The drill is obviously going to add something different to the game, whether it's minor or major, but yeah, this idea is that the ship itself wouldn't be something truly new, but rather it would be an incremental quality of life change, allowing you to make mining that much easier. The fifth idea is mining with a dedicated ship launch fighter, or maybe a deployable drone. This is something that you can see over on Reddit, and people there have sketched the idea of ship-launched fighters, or maybe a larger drone. And this drone, this ship-launched fighter, would crack cores whilst the mothership, the ship itself, stays clear of all the debris. A few people point to that circular recess that we can see on the ship as the hangar for this brand new type of fighter. But yes, we're starting to stretch the plausibility a little bit here, and that's why this sits at position 5 on this chart, because we're starting to get to the area where, well, we're pushing the idea, the theory a little bit of just how far Frontier might be willing to go. That said, a dedicated mining drone would be very nice to see. Carrying on the theme of where Frontier might go, but really pushing the plausibility limits just a bit, we have the idea of new mining biomes. So this is something you see pop up occasionally. It's more of a hope than a reality really, but the idea would be a new mining, that it would mean harvesting atmosphere bands or bulldozing a regolith on the planetary surfaces. Most people here acknowledge that this would require terrain tech or atmospheric scooping systems far beyond what we'd expect to find from a single ship launch. So therefore that makes this pretty unlikely, but you know, it still has some pretty intriguing possibilities. Specifically here, especially with the idea about surface mining, just look at where the hardpoint deploys from, right next to the cockpit. It also looks like potentially there's room here for this mining laser to pivot so that it could aim directly downwards. Therefore, we know the engines can also pivot a little bit due to the pistons on them. It could mean that the ship is hovering in place there with great stability thanks to the movement of the engines, and that the mining laser would be firing directly down into the surface of the planet. This one is way out there. I don't think it's very likely at all, but nonetheless it's certainly an interesting and intriguing possibility. Again, unlikely, just as with the alternative mining biomes, because Frontier did very specifically mention asteroids when it comes to mining with the Type 11. But that said, we're still going to go one a little bit further here, away from asteroids, with the idea of hull salvaging or melting wrecks. So the idea here would be that this drill is all about melting metal and infrastructure hulls, things like this. It's a bit of a fringe notion, and it really does flip mining into, away from asteroids and towards derelict ship salvage. It would aim the drill at wrecks, melt them for alloys, and therefore essentially recycling all those ships out there that have either been destroyed through combat or other activities. And who knows, there's also a lot of other damaged ships out there and other somewhat scattered debris as well, all throughout the galaxy, isn't there? Interesting possibility here, but that's the reason this one is right at the end of this list, because I don't think this one's very likely. But it would really open up a whole lot of different gameplay loops, not just the ability to salvage shipwrecks in asteroid fields, but to also salvage wrecks that can be found in the depths of space. So there we have it, a selection of ideas that could potentially be coming with the Type 11 Prospector. Maybe more than one of these will come with the ship, maybe absolutely none of them will come with the ship, all listed in order from most likely to least likely. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section, and also let me know if you have any alternative ideas as well, because I'd love to hear about them. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.